Hey, thanks for checking out the video. So we've got four main rotational areas or rotary centers in our body that attribute to our golf swing. That's the neck, shoulder, thoracic spine, and the hips. So if we want to hit the ball long, we want to increase our distance, we've got to make sure that those joints are able to rotate efficiently and also that the muscles that attach to those joints function properly. So I'm going to take you through some exercises that specifically hit on each one of those areas that'll help you increase your distance off the tee. All right, so this is how this is going to work. First, we're going to start off with some self-myofascial release techniques. So the foam roll, trigger point, cross ball, I'll show you the basics. But we want to hit those tissues and make sure that we get all the knots out, get those tender spots so they can function properly. Then what we want to do is we want to stretch or lengthen those areas, right? So I'm going to give you some range of motion exercises for the joints, and then I'll give you some specific golf stretches for each one of those areas. And after we've created that flexibility, we've created more space in those joints, then we need to solidify it with some isolated strength exercises. So I'm going to give you a handful of exercises that'll make sure that everything's all primed and ready to go so that you can hit the course. First off is the self-myofascial release. Well, first we'll start with some muscles of the hip, and probably the most important are the glutes. They're the key muscles for hip rotation in your golf swing. Now, when you're sitting on a foam roll, you just want to sit on top and you just want to lean to one side so that you can put a little bit of extra pressure on each glute. And you're simply just rolling back and forth, searching for that tender area. And once you find it, you just want to stop on that point. Now, if you bring your foot over to the other leg, you can target your piriformis muscle. And this is one that tends to be a tender area for most. The piriformis is also a key muscle in the external rotation of the hip. Now, if you don't have a foam roll, or you really want to be precise and get deeper into a trigger point, you can use a ball. And the size and the hardness is really just a matter of preference and tolerance. Then if you roll over to your side, you can lay on your TFL or tensor fascia lata. And this is one of your hip flexor muscles that often becomes tight and weak because of all the sitting that we do. So while a foam roll will work, this is one that a ball really works even better for in targeting this small muscle. The last muscle I'm going to touch on for your hips are the adductors, and these are key for internal rotation of the hips. So lying face down on the floor, just simply bring your leg out to the side and bend your knee and place the foam roll underneath your leg and roll in and out along the inside of your leg. Then as we move up to the thoracic spine, these muscles of the upper back are key to rotation and lateral flexion in your golf swing. So you're just going to flip over and place the foam roll at your mid back, and you're going to reach your arms across your body as if you're hugging yourself to kind of lengthen out that back area. It is important not to roll onto your lower back. All right, that can be a sensitive area, and we don't want to put too much pressure or stress on that area. Then, as far as self-myofascial release for your shoulder, so if you roll onto your side, your lat actually attaches all the way from your pelvis up to your shoulder. And this is what plays a major role in your posture and your ability to move your shoulder. Then our last rotary center, the neck, we're using a ball. And what I want you to do is you just need a ball on a wall, and we're going to focus on the trapezius muscle, which flexes and rotates your cervical spine. So simply just place the ball between your upper back and the wall, and you're slowly just kind of move around, move up and down along your upper back and your scapula. All right, so now that we've addressed some of those tender areas, let's get into some golf stretches. And the first thing that we're going to do with each of these areas is we're going to go through a CAR. And what that is it's a controlled articular rotation. And basically what it is it's an active rotational movement at the outer limits of our articular motion. So what it means basically is we are going to create more range of motion within our joint. So once we've done that, then I'm going to follow up with a specific golf stretch for each one of those areas to kind of groove that new range of motion that we create. So for all the CARS exercises, we want to irradiate. And this means we're going to trap air in the lower abdominals and breathe shallowly. And what we also want to do is we want to stabilize all the other areas of our body by creating a degree of tension, so that we ensure that we're only working that specific joint. So for the hip CAR, I want you to be on your side with your arms extended and your top hand should be pulling the bottom at the tension level of about 25% of your max effort. Then start by bringing your knee up into flexion, abduct your leg, internally rotate your hip, reach back and into hip extension and rotate around, then reverse. It's important to focus strictly on the joint being worked and not letting your lower back extend while doing this. Also, with each rep, you should be trying to expand the circle and create more range of motion. So 3 to 5 reps in both directions is good, and then switch legs. Next is the golf stretch for hips. And this is the 90-90 stretch, and it will focus on both hip internal rotation and hip external rotation. So first you'll need a yoga block or something to prop yourself up a little bit. Ideally you want 90-degree angles of each of your legs if you can. Now as you rotate into your back leg, you want to try to maintain an upright posture. It's also important to relax your breathing. So you should have 4-second inhalation and a 4-second exhalation. This position can be held for 1 to 2 minutes. If you have trouble maintaining the upright posture, you can lean back and that'll allow you to rotate a little bit more. From the same position, now we switch to the front leg, which is in external rotation. So with this stretch, we're trying to push our left hip back. You can also bend forward to create a deeper stretch in that hip. So next up is the spinal car. And again, we want to irradiate and create about 25% tension throughout our body. Now we're going to start by crossing our arms over our chest and flexing our spine forward. Keeping your hips still, rotate to the side, laterally flex, and then extend around to the other side. Laterally flex and rotate back to the starting position. If you have a medicine ball or a small physio ball, that can really help to lengthen your back, and it also further creates tension during the movement. So you perform 3 to 5 reps in each direction for these. Now the golf stretch for the thoracic spine focuses on thoracic rotation, and this is the thread the needle exercise. So we're going to start by sitting back onto our heels, and this will prevent our lumbar spine from rotating. Extend one arm out in front of you and take a deep breath in, exhale, and while you're sliding your arm through underneath you. Now you're going to repeat this 5 to 10 times and then switch sides. If this position is uncomfortable, you can sit away from your heels. Just be aware that it's easier for your lumbar spine to rotate in this position. The shoulder car will work the same way as the others, irradiate and create tension throughout the body. And we're going to start by flexing the shoulder or bringing your arm up overhead. Now, once you get as far as you can without your scapula or your upper trap moving, then externally rotate your shoulder or turn your hand to the outside and continue to rotate your shoulder back behind you until it comes down to your side. Now you should maintain that extra rotation all the way down to your side. Then we're going to reverse direction. You're going to extend your arm back as far as you can and then start to internally rotate your shoulder or turn your hand back in as you continue to rotate your shoulder and bring your arm overhead. With each rep, continue to try and create more room in that joint. Again, 3 to 5 reps on each side for the shoulder car. Now the shoulder golf stretch focuses on shoulder external rotation. So this is the club twist. And we're going to start by abducting our shoulder to 90 degrees and then slowly externally rotate your shoulder as far as you comfortably can by pulling the bottom of the club with the opposite arm. Now you can hold this position for 1 to 2 minutes or work in and out of it every 30 seconds. Lastly is the neck. The neck car is the same as the others. You'll start with this one, you're going to start by forward flexing your head down to your chest, rotate to the side, laterally flex, and then extend all the way around to the other side, laterally flex, and rotate back to the center. As with all the other cars, you go for 3 to 5 reps on each side. For the neck golf stretch, this is the 3-way neck stretch. You're going to flex your head down at a 45-degree angle. Using the same arm, gently assist your head into a deeper stretch. Hold for 30 seconds, and then you're going to repeat the same thing, but this time now you're going to go laterally 90 degrees. And then the last one will be backward 45 degrees, or extending your neck back 45 degrees. You're going to hold each of those for 30 seconds, and then switch sides. All right, we've hit those tender spots, we've lengthened those areas, we've created more range of motion. Now we need to get those muscles active and primed so that you're ready to go out there and hit bombs. For hip activation, the glutes are king. So for this exercise, we're going to modify the classic glute bridge and perform it single leg with the off leg in hip external rotation. So start by rotating your pelvis to neutral, bring your arms up above you. Now bridge up, contracting your glute, and at the same time, press your opposite knee down into further external rotation. You should not feel this in your lower back or in your hamstrings. So if this is too difficult, you can bring your arms down to your side. And if that is still too difficult, you can try just a single leg glute bridge or go with the regular version with both feet on the ground. Now 5 to 10 reps on each side. For thoracic spine activation, this is the banded or cable push-pull exercise, but it's going to be modified a little bit. I'm setting it up with a high and low band and doing it in a golf posture without using the hips. So you want to focus strictly on thoracic rotation and creating as much rotation as possible while gradually ramping up the intensity of the movement. Now, if you have only one band, that's okay. Just switch between the push and the pull on each side, and we'll do 10 to 15 reps each side for this exercise. Finally, for neck activation, I'm going to show you a positional isometric exercise. I want you to rotate your head as far as you can to one side. Then take your opposite hand and place it against your head. So slowly rotate your hand at approximately 25% intensity for 4 seconds into that hand. Bring your head back to center and then again rotate to the same side. Perform the same 4-second isometric contraction, but this time at about a 50% intensity. Then we're going to perform 2 more reps, gradually increasing the intensity to your comfort level, and then switch sides. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the exercises. Please give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. But once again, check out the physical assessment videos. They're really simple, easy assessments, give you a better understanding of what you can do, what your limitations are, and how they affect your golf swing. But you're all primed up, ready to go, so go crush it. And I'll see you back here next Monday for a new golf fitness video. Take it easy.